be a light for you in dark places when all other lights go out.
Hey guys, DCHL Devin here.
DCHL Jake.
And welcome to another question and answer light in the dark video. And today, these type of videos, we go ahead and take your questions from previous videos and we answer them here in this video. However, guys, you may see some were posted a while ago. We always respond to the questions unless they're super long. We always respond to them.
This might take a little while.
Yeah, we respond to them beforehand in the comment section, and then we just respond to them here on video, just so in case everyone else needs to also know that kind of answer. So, let's go ahead right into it. Now, before we go into it, you remember a question about Gullivar? And Floyd.
Yeah, if you go down to 1 or 0, I think it was fact, wasn't it?
It was FAQ'd.
Yeah.
Someone brought that up. We have the final answer to that. It was FAQ'd. Look in the FAQ section. It is 1. It goes to a minimum of 1. A lot of good responses on there, though, however, so if you go back to that video, you see a lot of them in the comment section. We won't go over all of them.
Yeah.
So, but let's go ahead into the questions for today. So, King Bonsai asks, could you explain the US meta in a vid, like what the GBHL did on the plan tier? This would be helpful for American players. All right. So King Bonsai is an American player.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to assume so. So you can tell us in the comment section if you're an American player. He's a very frequent, actually, watcher of our channel. So US meta, you understand what he means by this?
Yeah, like how we play, like essentially like the formats we play and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, basically. So I guess what as far as you, from your experience, so Jake is actually fairly new, despite being fastly improving. Like he's a train. So. Yeah. I mean, what would you say, like, I mean, from your experience, your short time playing, and I'll give my take.
From what I've seen, outside of even at Nova, when I went to Nova, I saw a lot of fluffy lists with the sprinkle of, like, horrifically competitive, I like to play fluffy. I'm one of the ones that likes to play fluffy, but I take the meanest things in a fluffy list, so I'm a crossbreed, I guess. But if I had to try and compare us to like the GBHL, I think they're a lot more competitive than we are. Yeah,
the GBHL, they play in a lot more tournaments than we do. And James said it best. The US is so spread apart that there really is no US meta. Because remember that just a portion of our country is the size of England.
Yeah, so we have like the Virginia meta, we've got the California meta, we've got the Texas meta.
Yeah, they're all going to be different metas. Overall, I would say that because of how scattered about we are, the US is overall a little less experienced.
I would say that's accurate.
I would say that, yeah, and when I say experience, I'm talking about the competitive side of things. We know how to play the game, or some, but I mean, yeah, ultimately we're growing. So there is that. And I'd say the Canadians have kind of a similar boat, where you have most of our veterans are guys who've been playing for years and just crept out of the woodwork.
Yeah. And I would say if we were as compact as the UK was, we'd be a lot better because we'd be able to obviously play a lot more often.
Yes. I mean, as far as anything else I can say is for meta, yeah, fluff. We're really big on that.
I don't really see like the same army all over the place either. I know in some places, you'll have like the competitive lists and everyone will play a variant of that. But around here, I mean, I'm just speaking for locally us. I see a little bit of everything. So I can't say we stick to one amazing army altogether.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, I guess you could clarify on what you mean by meta. I don't remember seeing the video where the GBHL mentioned what they have on the plant here, but if you're talking about the most common forces, I would say they are the dwarfs, very common in our elves. I think we're gonna end up having the same common ones that everybody else has. And really, this is due to cost. This is due to what was in the movies. So of course, Isengard, stuff like that. You're gonna see a lot of those, and they're gonna be more traditional style lists. Nothing like too crazy. Nothing like way unexpected or anything like that. And so, like, Goblin King leading an army of Isengard.
Didn't that happen somewhere?
That did happen in Canada. so
How did that happen?
The Goblin King got bored and he started ruling Isengard.
I was going to say that Isengard fell into a hole.
Yeah.
He subjugated them.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know how this happened. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the U.S. scene. Now, we do have, like I said, pockets of players who are competitive and are able to win. And when you're talking about those competitive players, it's going to resemble more along the lines of what you see with the GBHL.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah. Now, here's the deal. Here's a big difference between us and them. We do not care if it's evil versus evil or evil versus good.
Yeah.
We don't care about that. Also, another huge difference between us and the GBHL, as far as meta, our doubles actually allow a good and evil player to team up. Yep. So now that might seem broken at first, but it's not, because you cannot benefit from each. If you do that, you can't benefit from each other's magic, banners, war horns, stand fast, heroic actions, or special abilities. So why do you laugh with that? Is that something you're doing for Nova? You may notice, guys, for Nova, you're allowed to do that. You're actually allowed to have your ally bring Moria and you bring Gondor. You're totally okay with doing it.
It was an idea I was flirting with me and my partner of doing mounted ring wraiths with the White Council.
No. So you can do that. Mounted ring wraiths with the White Council. You are allowed to do it. Now, I know we just got done talking about how much fluff we play. And now we're telling you, yeah, screw the fluff.
You can do this with them. Are involved.
And honestly, the thing is, because we're such a small community, we don't have the luxury of being as picky. So basically, by telling you you can only play evil with evil, we risk telling someone they can't play.
Yeah, because I only have one army. And I can't afford to buy another one.
We can't take that risk at all. The GBHL have a 200 plus member strong community where they can be like, oh, we lost a couple players because we forced them to bring all this, or something like that. We can't do it.
Yeah.
So so basically we allow little things like that, which means we also allow proxies and a lot of other things. We do not mind miniatures like unreleased miniatures, stuff like that. So if you're coming to Nova, you can bring an army that is entirely comprised of a bunch of historical minis.
The only thing is it has to represent the model in some way. It can't be like, this is my Balrog.
Yeah.
His Hawaiian punches.
He will deliver the Hawaiian punch. So
don't do that.
So basically, that's the meta. All right, we spent a lot of time on that question.
Yeah,
Let's run to the next one. Akathon39 says, hey, sorry, I've been gone for a while, but glad things are starting to get back to normal. Certainly missed this channel. My question's a noisy question, but I'm excited in finding it out. What are you guys planning on taking to Ardacon? Will you try and do a complete DC takeover? Do you think you could? Will your list be made purely to win with all the worst cheese possible, or optimized, not cheesy like the GBHL did? That's Jacob laughing because he's enjoying this question. I'm going to Ardacon as well, so I can't wait to meet all you guys too. We might as well start with Jake, because apparently he has something to say.
Sorry, no, it's just I saw some cheesy stuff from the from the GBHL at Nova, and I lost to it, which is why keep calling it all cheese.
They brought fluff with elements of cheese. But honestly, here's the deal. they really weren't cheesy, because it's hard to be cheesy in Lord of the Rings in my opinion, but they did bring competitive. Don't get me wrong. James brought a full army of Rivendell knights with Gandalf and Legolas. You cannot tell me that is not competitive.
Yeah.
So Damien brought Isengard. I don't think he brought his Berserker list, but
he did. There was a lot of Berserkers. There was a full squad of 12 crossbows.
Yeah. So I mean,
it hurt real
even
bad.
Tom brought a competitive. So I mean, did they bring cheese? I don't know what you mean by cheese in Lord of the Rings, but
it might be cheesy to us here because we don't see that level of competitive over there. It's probably not considered cheese because like that's what they play on a regular basis. So that's might be what he's talking about.
So let's go on to Ardacon. What are we taking? Well, I've said in several videos. So Jake's not going to tell you.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you one.
No, I don't know. Your list is easy to pick out with a hint. So it's pretty easy to figure out.
All right, I plan on being mean. That's all I'm going to say.
I plan on being mean-ish, so I don't know what so first off, guys, we only have a points for Ardacon. I don't know what the comp is. But right now I'm considering my Arnor and Hobbit list. As you guys know, that is my favorite list. So James has Rohan and I have this, and Damien has, his Isengard list and I have this. Ed Ball has Fell Beasts, and I still have my Arnorians. Well, yeah, Jake brought Fell Beasts last year to Nova. So now,
I them wrong apparently.
Are we gonna do a DC takeover?
How would we do a DC takeover?
We can't. No, I don't think we can.
We don't have, I mean,
all right. So he's asking if we're gonna conquer everything.
Well, we could.
I think we're gonna do fairly well.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do fairly well. Now, you might be wondering, okay, why are we hesitant to say, DC, yeah, let's crush. You have to understand the GBHL members play like 20 tournaments a year. And even if you don't play in all of them, you play in a lot of them. And you're playing like heavy competitive metas. So you got the likes of Jay Clare, Ed Ball, James Long, like these guys, they're tough to take down. Like they're not.
Yeah, I think we have a total of like 4 tournaments?
Well, this past year that's just happened, a total of 9.
9? Okay.
Or 8.
So yeah,
8.
a little less than half.
Yeah. So I mean, realistically, we're not going to have as much play time on it, and so it's like, all right.
That's why you beat us, by the way. We don't play as much.
No. I mean,
I'm kidding.
No. Honestly, when the GBHL came over last time, our community was actually pretty new. Now it's a lot more experience. So when the GBHL come down, they'll actually see that there's a lot more experience than before. It should be a lot harder for them than before, and we're getting more countries involved than before. So, or more of those countries, like the Canadians. Yeah. So it should be a lot more difficult. What I actually expect is for us to do very well. It would pleasantly surprise me if I took first. Yeah. I would expect to we'll go top 20. I guess that's my goal.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see. I mean, with what we plan on bringing,
yeah,
I'm gonna say we could go.
Guys, I say Hobbits and Arnor, but it's a pretty mean list.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's actually pretty tough to beat. Except in Lords of Battle. Yeah. Then I die.
Well, yeah.
So if I see Lords of Battle in Ardacon, then that's where I know I'm gonna hope for a matchup that's amazing.
Playing a bunch of kids with axes. This works because of a grumpy old man.
Yeah. So it works for a variety of reasons. I don't want any one reason the list works, otherwise Ringmaze would beat me. But but yeah. I mean, honestly, can't wait to meet you two. You've been actually a commenter on this channel from the beginning, so it would be really interesting to meet all the people who've been posting on our channel. So let's
put names to these
faces, to the faces to names. Yeah. So let's go to the next question, guys. Just because we took a while in that first one, so let's go ahead and hit these. Terry Young says, given that the Lord of the Rings appendices were explicitly cited as sources for future releases, I would reasonably suspect that we would see a Helm Hammerhand supplement. Aside from Errol, who was already covered in the Shadow of East, Helm is given more attention than any other king of Rohan in the appendix. He was even in Legions of Middle-earth. I think a Gondorian Kinstrife supplement is also likely, again because of the attention it gives to the appendix. So I chose this comment mostly because I want to give our thoughts on it. I mean, if you were to see the appendices come back, I would have to say, so you're not huge into the lore, I imagine.
I mean, I am, but not to like your level or a couple of. I mean, I know enough to know what I'm talking about, but.
Then I guess just to say on that, then yeah, I agree with Terry Young here. I think Helm Hammerhand is something we might see.
My lore on him is his name is cool.
Yeah, Helm Hammerhand, if you guys don't know, is a king of Rohan who actually Helm's Deep is named after because he was able to hold it against a force that should have conquered him. And he was a very fearsome leader of Rohan. That's really all I know. I don't know a ton about him. I think Kinstrife is also very possible. Kinstrife is when Gondor had a civil war. Okay. I think maybe more elaboration on ones we've already had. Yeah. But yeah, I would say those. I think I can't go too much further on those, mostly because you don't know the lore. I don't know it as well as I'd like to. So, but yeah, Helm Hammerhand, Kinstrife, I think those are excellent supplements to go into. Let's go into a question by Steve Braun. He says, do you allow people to play with proxy miniatures or only Games Workshop figures?
Funny, we covered that.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yes. You do not need a Games Workshop army in any DCHL tournament. As long as the model looks like the model and is the same size as the model, and it is, of course, up to judges' discretion. However, common sense generally wins out. You do not need Games Workshop miniatures. Unreleased miniatures, Hammered miniatures, all those other miniatures, they are completely allowed.
Again, I refer to the Balrog.
Yeah.
It's not a Balrog.
Yeah.
It might be as big as the base, not a Balrog.
Yeah, you can... Don't use Hawaiian Punch as your Balrog.
Don't do
So
it.
far, we have yet to deny a single model.
Yeah.
We actually met with Steve Braun, and he's actually now kind of jumping into the whole thing. And he has Roman legionnaires, and he wanted to make them his Arnorians. And I was like, yeah, Arnor was not in a movie, was not given a seriously clear description of what they look like. And as long as they have spears, like the profile should suggest, yeah, bring them. Roman legionnaires with spears. And so they're Arnorians now.
This is Sparta.
Yeah, so I know this sounds a little weird, but like I said, it's all about the fact that Tolkien based his world in historical attributes anyway. So the ones we'll be less lenient on are like Moria goblins. You probably actually need the Moria goblins. I don't know anything. I mean, you might find another miniatures company that sells small little goblins, but
Yeah, as long as they're goblins, I guess.
they just have to be goblins. That's really it. But other than that, yeah. But yeah, fully at your liberty. If you want to take some fantasy ogres and make them cave trolls, then I guess they're cave trolls now. So now this rarely happens, but we do allow that. Mm-hmm. So last question before we get into it is actually a fairly long one. I'm going to make this last question because you guys know I like to keep my videos short. So he sends us a book. It's from Wah. If you guys don't know, this is the Jin Singh, the leader of the West Coast Hobbits. He says, question, if you were given charge of defending Minas Tirith during the build-up to the siege and during the siege, what tactics would you have employed to defend the city? Now, he does go into a long list of exactly what he would do. I guess I'll skim over it. He says he would defend the gates because it's the weakest parts. He would... I guess we can read this. So he has no expectation of allies coming. He wants to block the gate altogether, so I guess just block it with rubble. Mm-hmm. And then erect a series of barricades behind the gates to make defensible positions, to allow a couple more hours to allow forces to fall back if needed. Then he build trenches, a series of trenches that allow passages of man and beast, but not the weight of siege weapons like towers. So basically trenches outside the city walls, maybe for the siege towers to fall into. Movement of non-army personnel to safer environments on upper levels. Fire, of course, using that, burning arrows. Deployment of manpower. Never understood the fascination of deploying troops in mass on the walls of the early stage of the battle where they all get shot at. Have them within the walls as reserves, and don't deploy them until the ladders are closer. So yeah, I'm
just thinking about. So I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and he was saying, you know, the whole ladder thing. Game of Thrones had a scenario where people are climbing this big giant ice wall, and there was a big scythe that came down, killed them all. Yep. There was a specific spot. I think and I don't know why I've never seen it on a siege, but you can employ something like that where it's just on the top, or somewhere in the middle, but all it does is it just flies from one side to the other, and it cuts ladders in half. It's just a blade of some kind that is...
It'd have to be a ball that wouldn't destroy the wall itself, but...
Well, it's attached to the wall, so picture the wall... But then there's a little break right here. There's a little thing, and this blade is just erected here, and it might be even just like held by people. They just grab it and they run down this thing, and then.
I don't know how effective it would. See, on the ice wall it worked because the scythe one wouldn't damage the wall, so because it's too thick. But two, that wall was high, really high. Minas Tirith's walls wouldn't be that high, so you could probably employ it. But I'm pretty sure. There's a reason no medieval engineer ever thought to do it.
I think you're missing. I'm not talking about like a swing thing, right? Is that what you think I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about the swing thing.
Yeah, I'm not talking about. So here's the wall, and then say the wall keeps continuing here, but right here there's just a little slit or something, and then the wall is empty here, right? These are hallways.
Yep.
So you know how Mordor trolls grabbed the things and walked, and then it opened the gate, right?
Yeah.
So back here, there's like a piece of wood. You just grab it, but it's attached to a blade that sticks out the side of the wall. Okay?
Oh, okay. So you have a slit and you're just sliding across
the wall. It's just attached to like a rail or something. You got like 12 dudes grab this thing, and they just run. That's all they do. And it just hits.
I don't know how really that would impact the integrity of the wall. It might if you do it at the very top.
Yeah, it doesn't really have to be like at the very bottom. It could be at the very top. It just all it does is disconnect the ladders and it just knocks them over.
It's an interesting thought. I guess I would have to see that work. He's basically talking some at the top. Yeah, you just slide it in between. There'd be like a little section of gap.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm not a siege tactician. I wouldn't even call myself historically one. I'd be absolutely just as bad as Denethor defending that wall.
I've built many kingdoms when it comes to D&D. Again, it's different aspect, but I've built defenses and the gate. I don't know why there wasn't some sort of ditch or something in front of the gate to stop.
I don't think they prevented anything simply because Denethor didn't order it. Like
Retarded.
Well, he was madman at that point. So
Why didn't the guy before Denethor do it though? Denethor wasn't always in charge, was he?
Oh yeah. Remember, Minas Tirith was not a line of defense at the time, as Gilead was actually the main city, and that did have ditches and rivers and all stuff. That was actually the main city of Gondor, and then they turned the capital of Gondor into Minas Tirith after they retreated. I believe that's the history of it. So it never was intended to be a defended structure like it is today.
Baffles me.
So, yeah, I mean, you cover some of the more basic things. I actually really wish that I knew more of how people defended stuff in a siege, so that way I could kind of give you more. I'm trying to even just relate it to Lord of the Rings. Like, what did I know they could have done?
Other than kick the ladders down.
Well, they had siege towers.
Yeah, they did have siege towers. What?
Oh, you know what? I would have attached rolling stones. So the trebuchets, they fired the stones, they fired like rubble or something, but it would just plop.
Yeah.
I would have fired rounded stones that would roll and cause tons of impact damage. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Or
that was
even siege-sized bolas, like big 2 giant blocks attached to a chain, fire it, spins. So
yeah, I've seen that in movies. I don't know how effective that is.
I don't know. I think it would be. It
kind
covers
of
more
interesting.
surface area. That way
Yeah.
you don't have to hit this thing.
Yeah,
hit this thing.
you're talking to two guys who just aren't engineers and sieges.
You're just talking about stuff that looks cool.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I'd have Superman come down.
You'd think we would have done the research, but honestly, researching the answer to a question this complex.
I mean, they didn't really have much at their disposal.
Yeah.
When it comes to like you could say the obvious things like they should have dug a ditch in front of the gate so that a ram couldn't get there. But I mean, if the place wasn't its main hub of defense, I mean, maybe a leader wouldn't think that was.
Maybe if you were a competent leader, you might have dug a quick ditch, but I don't know how long it would have taken to actually dig that ditch.
Yeah.
I think another thing you probably could have made was something that.
Moats with sharks.
Yeah, I don't know, with laser eyes. I mean, this is honestly, I guess I defer to now you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with him with the putting everybody on the front wall doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can put a handful of people defending a well-defended area can hold it against 10 times their number. You don't need to have everybody there. And with the way Minas Tirith was, you had...
I guess they were just trying to keep them out of the city in general, but an army of that size, I would just assume that some of the city's going to get lost.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
So, and I feel like the inner parts of the city were easier to defend than the outer set.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I probably would have abandoned the front.
One other thing, I'm taking it from Game of Thrones, is so when the tower was finally compromised and the gate was blown through, they had the ability to collapse the gate. Or collapse the tunnel.
That'd be cool.
So like the main.
So to be the ability to just collapse it.
To collapse the main gate.
That would have been a very expensive rebuild.
But you're not dead.
Yeah.
There's that.
I'd rather be dead than to collapse my gate.
Each gate, if it had its this ability to be like a big giant 8-ton block, just said. And didn't move.
If you could somehow make a kill zone, like I guess as they come through the gate, and then you could throw down some rubble or something, like make collapses and stuff that would make it so that they're now, once they've got through the gate, they're just in this courtyard where they're stuck, and then you just pour oil and all kinds of stuff and just rain hell on them as they're in this section. So
yeah, even just a bunch of just rubble in the car. I mean, if you know the courtyard, say get everyone out. Just riddle the courtyard with rubble, complete, and then even if they get in, they can't have standardized formations.
We're probably gonna have to cut this question short because one, it's not even Lord of the Rings related to
SVG.
SVG,
we can keep going on this too.
And two, it's we've hit this question for a while, so we're gonna end it at that. And guys, if you have any more questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them. Like I said, we answer all the questions in the comment section below. Even if we don't cover them in these videos, and even if we do answer them, we sometimes will cover it anyway in these videos. So, all right, guys, I hope to see you very soon.